Imagine waking up one morning and seeing social media completely frozen, timelines not moving, sports shows scrambling, analysts stuttering, and fans refreshing their feeds over and over again because the unthinkable headline just dropped. Lamar Jackson signs with the Dallas Cowboys in a blockbuster deal. Even if this is a hypothetical scenario, just the thought of it feels so massive that it almost doesn't feel real. This is the kind of move that would stop the NFL world in its tracks, because Lamar Jackson isn't just another quarterback. He's a former MVP, a generational athlete, and one of the most electrifying players the league has ever seen, and the Dallas Cowboys aren't just another franchise. They're the most valuable sports team on the planet, with expectations that stretch far beyond wins and losses. The reason this hypothetical scenario feels so explosive is because of what Lamar Jackson represents. He represents evolution. He represents a shift in how quarterbacks dominate the game. From the moment he entered the league, defenses had to rewrite their rulebooks just to slow him down. His speed breaks angles that defenders are taught their entire careers. His arm strength punishes teams that sell out to stop the run. And his confidence, swagger, and leadership have made him one of the most respected figures in football. Now imagine all of that power being dropped into the heart of Dallas, under the brightest lights in American sports. For the Cowboys, this hypothetical signing would be about more than football. It would be about identity. For years, Dallas has been chasing that one final piece that takes them from contenders to champions. They've had elite rosters, dominant offensive lines, star receivers, and game-changing defenders, but what they've lacked is that unstoppable force who can take over games when everything breaks down. Lamar Jackson is that force. He doesn't need a perfect pocket. He doesn't need everything to go right. He creates greatness when chaos hits, and that's exactly what separates good teams from Super Bowl champions. If this hypothetical deal happened, the shockwave across the NFL would be immediate. Every team in the NFC would instantly reevaluate their future. Defensive coordinators would panic because preparing for Lamar Jackson isn't just about stopping the pass or stopping the run. It's about surviving for 60 minutes against a quarterback who can score from anywhere on the field, at any time. The moment Lamar steps onto the field wearing the star on his helmet, the Cowboys instantly become must-watch television. Every primetime game becomes an event. Every road game becomes a hostile environment because fans know they're witnessing something special. From a football standpoint, Lamar Jackson in Dallas would unlock an entirely new offensive dimension. The Cowboys' playbook would expand overnight. Suddenly, defenses can't play two high safety looks without risking Lamar gashing them on the ground. They can't stack the box without leaving themselves vulnerable to explosive downfield throws. Every linebacker would be forced to hesitate for just half a second, and that's all Lamar needs. That hesitation turns into broken tackles, extended drives, and momentum swings that flip games on their head. What makes this scenario even more fascinating is the pressure. Dallas is not an easy place to play. Every throw is dissected, every mistake is magnified, every win is expected, but Lamar Jackson has already proven he can handle pressure. He's played with the weight of expectations his entire career. He's been doubted, criticized, questioned, and yet he continues to perform at the highest level. Bringing that mindset into Dallas would instantly shift the culture. Teammates would rally behind him. The locker room would feel his confidence. Belief would spread fast, and belief is dangerous in the NFL. The national media reaction alone would be historic. Debate shows would spend weeks arguing whether this is the greatest signing in NFL history. Analysts would break down every possible outcome. Some would say it guarantees a Super Bowl. Others would warn about expectations being too high. But one thing would be undeniable: the Cowboys would be the center of the football universe. Every opponent would circle that game on their calendar. Every fanbase would have an opinion. Love them or hate them, no one would be able to ignore them. For Lamar Jackson's legacy, this hypothetical move would represent a defining chapter. Winning in Dallas means immortality. The Cowboys haven't hoisted a Super Bowl trophy in decades, and the quarterback who brings that championship back would be remembered forever. Lamar wouldn't just be remembered as an MVP or a highlight machine. He'd be remembered as the man who restored glory to America's team. That kind of legacy is rare. That kind of opportunity changes careers. At the same time, this scenario would completely reshape the power balance in the NFC. Teams like Philadelphia, San Francisco, Detroit, and Green Bay would suddenly be chasing Dallas. Matchups would feel different. Game plans would become more conservative. One mistake against Lamar Jackson can turn into 7 points in seconds, and that fear changes how teams play. Coaches become cautious. Defenses overthink, and that's when elite quarterbacks strike. Fans would be split down the middle. Cowboys fans would explode with excitement, immediately talking about Super Bowl parades and championship banners. Critics would warn that no move guarantees a title. Rival fans would claim the hype is too much. But deep down, everyone would know that something special is happening. This isn't just another offseason move. This is the kind of moment people remember years later, the kind of "where were you when" story that defines eras. Even the business side of the league would feel the impact. Jersey sales would skyrocket, ratings would spike, the Cowboys brand would grow even bigger, and Lamar Jackson would become one of the most marketable athletes on the planet. Sponsors, commercials, and global attention would follow. But none of that would matter once the ball is snapped. Because in the end, football is still won on the field, and Lamar Jackson has always let his play speak louder than any headline. What truly makes this hypothetical scenario so compelling is that it feels like the ultimate gamble. High reward, massive pressure, and historic stakes. Dallas would be betting that Lamar Jackson is not just a great quarterback, but a transformational leader. Lamar would be betting that he can thrive under the brightest lights and deliver when it matters most. That combination is rare, and when it works, it changes history. So when fans talk about this scenario, they're not just talking about a contract or a roster move. They're talking about destiny. They're talking about rewriting narratives. They're talking about a future where the Dallas Cowboys aren't just talked about for their past, but feared for their present. Whether you believe it would end in a championship or heartbreak, one thing is undeniable. If Lamar Jackson ever put on a Cowboys uniform, even in a hypothetical world, the NFL would never feel the same again. And that's why this scenario continues to capture imaginations. Because it represents possibility, it represents chaos, it represents hope, fear, excitement, and controversy all wrapped into one move. This is the kind of story that defines generations of fans. And whether it ever happens or not, just imagining Lamar Jackson leading the Dallas Cowboys is enough to send shockwaves through the entire football world. If you enjoyed this breakdown, imagine what the season would look like. Imagine the playoff matchups. Imagine the Super Bowl conversations. This is the kind of football discussion that keeps fans talking year-round. And until the next hypothetical shakes the league,